All right. Hello, everybody. It is Coach Talon, your coach of the Atlanta Braviaries, bringing to you my ICBA Season 6 Draft Analysis. Yeah, Season 6. It says it right there. So, for those of you who don't know what the ICBA is, the ICBA is a semi-Ubers league that was pretty popular back in Gen 7, and now they've come to the Gen 8 scene. So, what is semi-Ubers? It's semi-Ubers. I could actually pull up the tiers, but I'd have to spoil my team by doing so, but I'm not gonna do that. But basically, not all Ubermons, like a lot of Ubermons were actually banned. But we do have things like Groudon, we have Ho-Oh, we have Kira White, we have Kira Black, we got Solgaleo. Kind of the kind of mons, I guess, is what semi-Ubers would be considered. Granted, they're all still fucking broken. But yeah. So let's just jump right into it. It was a point-based draft ranging for tiers ranging from like 24 to 1. We had like 110 points, I believe, to spend on mons. And we had 9th pick of the overall draft. So, with that being said, let's get it. Starting off with round 1. Y'all like the attacking animations? I think they look pretty nice, low-key. I think they look pretty fire. Starting off round 1, we grabbed Giratina Origin. And originally, with this team, I wanted to go for like a DTC Part 2 / revamped version. And I wanted Kieran Black, but that got taken 3rd pick. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? So unfortunately... And then Victini got taken like fucking... as the round I was gonna pick it too, and it was not fun. But we have Giratina Origin, really good Pokemon in my opinion. 150 HP, beautiful HP stat, 120 attack, 120 special attack, 100 in both defenses, and base 90 speed. This mon has some beautiful stats. When I see its stats, I love looking at them. It is one of those mons that is limited to holding one specific item, which is that orb shit. Don't know how you pronounce it, but the orb. But it's okay because it's shadow balls, it's shadow moves, it's ghost type and dragon type moves are boosted by 1.2, which is actually really nice considering how spammable a move shadow ball is, unless you're obviously a normal type. But this thing actually gets really good coverage as well, getting access to things like energy ball, it gets psychic, it gets thunderbolt, it gets all kinds of statuses. It has setup option with Calm Mind. It has access to Aura Sphere. It has Ancient Power and Dark Pulse. This thing even gets Defog, so it access hazard removal. It could also I wouldn't put it past me to run it physical. This thing gets access to Dragon Claw. It gets access to like Earthquake. It gets access to Facade. I don't think it gets Shadow Claw and Shadow Sneak. So physical Giratina Origin, don't put it past me. I honestly... looking at it now, I'd run it. I'll run it eventually. It has a really nice ability and levitate, so it's immune to ground type attacks. So having 2 immunities with like three, because it's immune to fighting, it's immune to normal, and it's immune to ground type attacks, all of which are really spammable moves since they basically go unresisted by a lot of typings. It goes like unresisted by a lot of things. So yeah, I'm really happy with this pick. I think it's definitely going to be here to put in some work and definitely spam those shadow balls. So moving into round 2, we have Mel Metal. Mel Metal is just a button clicker. 135 HP, 143 special attack. No spoilers. Fuck, y'all didn't see that. 143 defense, 80 special attack, 65 speed def, 34 speed. This mon definitely balances out my speeds here a lot. Well, not necessarily, actually. I take it back. I lied. But this mon is basically don't bring Trick Room around against me, or else I'm clicking Double Iron Bash and I'm claiming lives. Because that's all Mel Metal does, is it clicks Double Iron Bash and it claims lives. Oh, I did want to say one thing. Some of the PNGs are kind of messed up on some of the mons. Like... on their attacking animations, because they just didn't like crop well, I guess would be the word for it. So, you know, fun little game. Let me know in the comments which PNGs are messed up. And by basically like having it see-through when it's not supposed to be see-through, basically. But yeah, this thing, Double Iron Bash, need I say more? It acts as a steel type. I forgot to mention that Giratina acts as a dragon type for Fairy Steel Dragon Core. Mel Metals are steel type. It clicks Double Iron Bash. It could potentially click Gyro Ball if I need it. It has Earthquake. It has Body Press with that 143 defense. Definitely doing some fucking damage. It gets access to Darkest Lariat. It gets access to Ice Punch and Thunder Punch and Rock Slide. And Super Power and Brick Break. So it has that fighting coverage. But Body Press also always covered that. So I don't know why I'm mentioning it now. Really, this mon honestly just clicks buttons. And that's what it's going to be here to do. Button clicking is what it's best at. So I'm really excited to use this mon. I think Mel Metal can kind of be like a slept-on mon when it comes to draft format. I know a lot of people don't like it. I think it can put in some work, honestly. Definitely a situational type mon, but if I need to drop it, you know, I will. I'm not opposed to the thought of it because, you know, I understand the cons. Like, the cons of Mel Metal are pretty out there, so I definitely will keep them in mind and in consideration. So, other than that, Mel Metal just clicks buttons. Like I said, Mel Metal's a button clicker. The button clicker of the team right now. Clicking Double Iron Bash for the most part. So, moving on. We have Rodem Heat. If you type Rodem Heat down in the comments, like, oh, this mon's PNG is messed up, it doesn't count. I know it's messed up. And honestly, I don't think it looks that bad when it's messed up, if in my personal opinion. But Rodem Heat. I've actually been wanting to use this mon for such a long time. You have no clue. I also just wanted to make sure I was recording. This mon, well, all Rodem forms are like really bulky, but also really offensive at the same time. Overheat, such not super spammable, but you know, it will do damage to basically everything that wants to come in on it. Discharge, giving that percentage to paralyze. It gets defunct, so it acts as hazard removal. It loves the Tims. It loves the boots. It gets access to Thunderbolt and Thunder Wave, Toxic, Trick, Volt Switch, Will-O-Wisp. It gets access to all of it. Any status you can think of, it probably has it. It can be screens. It can be, it can have Plane Fleet. It can be nasty plot setup. This mon can do a lot. It can be bulky. It can be offensive, like I said. It loves the Tims. It loves the Tims. But it gives me another form of hazard removal with defunk. So that's really lovely. And I think the introduction of the boots, heavy duty boots, definitely helped this mon a lot. Because usually it's running Choice Scarf and Specs, or maybe just leftovers, and it's locked into those moves. And like, unless it's leftovers, and it's locked into those moves. And you can't really like switch around that much. And I think that Rodem Heat is definitely one of those mons, or any kind of Rodem form is definitely one of those mons that enjoys being able to switch their move. So the Tims definitely do help it with that. I will probably most likely be running Scarf and Specs my fair share throughout this league. It's an 8-week season, so there's not a lot of time to do a lot of shenanigans, but the shenanigans will come eventually. Don't get me wrong. They're going to be there. So that's really it with Rodem. Amazing status mon. Amazing offensive and defensive mon. So I'm really excited to use it. I've been wanting to use it for a while. Some may say that it's the best Rodem form. So, next up, we got the Grim Snarl. Another mon that I've actually been wanting to use for a long time. Prankster Screens, Prankster Toxic, and T-Wave. Really just another mon who can do actually quite a bit of things. It can be offensive with that 120 attack stat. Like I said, it sets the screens. It T-Waves. It tricks items onto things that it does not want, like, that the mon does not want. If I can get off a Sticky Barb trick set, I will be happy with life. That is the one set that I've always wanted to run with a Prankster mon, and I've never gotten the chance. I'm going to take a quick sip of water because I'm thirsty. But I've seen that set pump off like in Battle Stadium. Like, somebody brought that against me when I played Battle Stadium, and it was fucking fire. I loved that set, and I definitely want to use it. But nah, this thing, oh, I'm so sorry if you can see that. This thing gets nice coverage with Fire Punch, Leech Life, Ice Punch, Hammer Arm. It gets Bulk Up, so it has that potential to set up. It gets Power Whip. It gets obviously it gets Power Up. Spirit Break could definitely be a nice move to have. Being able to lower special attack stat, definitely gonna be able to come in handy eventually. Don't know when, but it'll happen. Yeah, I feel it in my heart. So that's actually kind of it. If you really think about it, like Leech Life, I've ran Leech Life mons that really shouldn't probably be running Leech Life, like Leech Life Sandslash, kind of fire. I like being able to have that like sort of built-in recovery and be able to do damage at the same time. So I don't put it past me to run Leech Life on this mon. I probably will eventually. But yeah, this mon really Prankster. Need I say more? Prankster Screens, Prankster Bulk Up. There are a couple sets that I definitely want to run with this mon, and I hope that I can run all of them. If not, then I will definitely grab this in a later league, because I think that this is such a good Pokemon in my opinion. Now, moving on, we grabbed Rose Raid. Rose Raid, such a beautiful mon, such a beautiful mon. Rose Raid's ability, Technician, Natural Cure, and Poison Point, all are pretty good, not gonna lie. I guess Poison Point would probably, since without Hidden Power, Rose Raid does kind of like, it's a little nowadays. It's still a really good mon, but it's a little nowadays. So Poison Point just become so much better of an ability with the loss of HP, Hidden Power, and things like that. But this mon has aromatherapy. It gets leech seed. It gets toxic spikes and spikes. This is a really good spike setter and spike stacker. What I love about special grass types is that they always get Giga Drain, and Giga Drain is just such a beautiful move to be able to run. But this mon also, gets Leaf Storm. So if I want to run offensive, which I have before in the past when I had Rose Raid, if I wanted to run offensive Rose Raid with choice specs, the option is 100% there. It gets Shadow Ball for a little bit of coverage. It gets Dazzling Gleam as well, and extra sensory. So this mon does get a decent bit of coverage, and I'm really excited to use it. Rose Raid all around is just a really good mon. Some may say it's a little lackluster. I would kind of agree, kind of disagree at the same time. It really just depends on the situation that you put Rose Raid in. So moving on from that, we have Sharpedo. Sharpedo, pretty good mon in my opinion. Getting access to both Rough Skin. If I want Rough Skin Rocky Helmet, I can. It gets access to Speed Boost, so there's that as well. Has a pretty nice attacking stat with base 120. 95 is definitely a good stat to be building that speed up with. So come in, click Protect, get that Speed Boost, outspeed a decent portion of mons, and just start clicking buttons from there. This thing gets access to Flip Turn, which is actually really nice now for more utility, like I said, Rocky Helmet, Rough Skin, Sharpedos, if I ever want that, because it does have access to Toxic and Taunt, so there's those options. It gets Zen Headbutt for things like coverage. It gets Close Combat now, like every mon in this generation. But yeah, I can really, this thing gets Earthquake? You learn something new. It gets Earthquake, it gets Poison Jumps for those fairy types. This mon really can just come in and click a couple buttons. I can definitely see this mon putting in some work. So I'm excited to use it. I used it in the RCF, and it actually did click a couple buttons back there. So I'm, again, very excited to use this mon. Think it could definitely put in that work. Speed Boost, such an amazing ability. Really happy that I picked this up. So, with that being said, moving on. Well, is there much to say else? Yeah, no, there's not much else to say. Other than the fact that this thing can also be ran special. I've seen special Sharpedo, and it's actually kind of fire, not gonna lie, because this thing, no, I keep doing that. This thing does not get any kind of, it doesn't get, I thought it got Nasty Plot. It does not. But still, special Sharpedo could eventually come. Don't put it past me. I've been trying to experiment with sets and like bringing more non-standard sets than usual. So we'll see how it goes. I think that's what I want to do with this league a lot as well, is try to bring like non-standard sets and bring, like, I guess you would call them fun, but like a couple shenanigans here and there. So moving on, we have Slowking Galerian form. I've been told that this mon is actually a pretty decent mon. It loves its assault vest. and it kind of clicks buttons. It has a base 110 special attacking stat. It clicks Sludge Bomb. It clicks Psychic. I don't know if I'll ever run Eerie Spell, which is its personal like signature move, simply because I don't want to PP stall anybody, because it does remove 3 PP each time you click it. So I don't think I'd ever want to do that to somebody. It just seems like a dick thing to do, and I don't know if I'd ever run it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but I personally don't think I will. This thing gets a fuck ton of coverage, as well, because it gets Surf, it gets Flamethrower if I'm not mistaken, and Grass Knot. It gets Ice Beam and Scald. I thought it got Thunderbolt, but it doesn't. It gets Fire Blast and things like that. So just every coverage that like Slowking kind of gets, well, it gets a little bit more, but it still gets that coverage. It gets those water moves. It gets Ice Beam and things like that. Really cool mon. Glad to have it here. I think it's definitely a fun mon that I would probably use again if given the opportunity, because from like the way I've seen people use it, like Gravy, it definitely looks like a fun mon. I'm really glad to have it on the team. So yeah, that's really it. This mon is such a special wall. Like I said, it loves its Assault Vest paired with that like really good special defense stat and Regenerator. Just a beautiful mon. Just a beautiful special wall, and it would really allow me to be able to gauge damage very well. So I can definitely see this mon coming to a couple games. I'm really excited for this mon. More than some others for sure, because you know I saw it was there and I said fuck it, I'm gonna grab it, and I really think that this could definitely do some things. So moving into the next pick, we grabbed ourselves Lycanroc. Yes, I know I'm not a Sand team. What am I grabbing Lycanroc for? I needed more hazards. I wanted Stealth Rocks. Lycanroc provides that for me. It's a fast Stealth Rock setter. You see that 112 speed, even though he's covering the E. Don't worry about that. This thing Stealth Rocks. This thing also goes really offensively with that base 115 attacking stat and that 112 speed stat. Okay, I'm so sorry about that small cut. We're back. We're good. Anyways, like I said, this thing loves clicking its stone edges. It loves clicking even like maybe Rock Tomb if it gets it. I'm fairly sure it does. And it loves its Accelerock. I love Accelerock. I think Accelerock is a good move, and more rock type should probably get it. But I think Lycanroc is definitely here to put in some work for sure. With that 115 attacking stat, definitely get up those rocks potentially. If I ever feel like clicking the button, and then just clicking buttons from there. And I mean, it is fairly frail, so it's definitely not gonna be living the most hits for sure. But I mean, it's so fast that it's not gonna need max speed every time, so I can just dump the rest in like HP or defense and special defense. It really just all depends on the situation and the battle, I guess. You never know. So moving into the final 3 picks, we grabbed Mr. Rhyme again. I originally grabbed Electivire, but I've already played my week 1 match, and I did drop Electivire after week 1 for Mr. Rhyme. Not after week 1, but like before. The transaction period is kind of weird. There wasn't one. So when I dropped Electivire, it's only going to be effective week 2. And I did not. I'm spoilers right now. I did not bring Electivire week 1. I thought about it for sure. Did not do it. But I have Mr. Rhyme. I also have him in the UPBA. Y'all should check out that draft analysis. Went up to yesterday. So yeah, I'm really excited to use this mon. Well, not really excited, but I think this is definitely a decent mon. A really good rapid spinner, provides me with more removal than just Giratina and Rodem. So far as what it looks like, I believe that's all I have for removal. Yeah. So it gives me another rapid spinner. It gives me freeze dry mon. Freeze dry is actually such a good move since it does hit those water types in my opinion. I think freeze dry is pretty nice move. It gets the priority with Ice Shard. It gets actually some nice coverage. It gets Dazzling Gleam. It gets Energy Ball. That's it. Oh no, it gets Thunderbolt. It gets Thunderbolt, Thunder Wave, Toxic. It gets Trick. It gets Light Screen and Reflect. It gets a Nasty Plot if I'm ever feeling scandalous. So I can definitely see this mon definitely putting in that work. Maybe just doing what I really grabbed it to do and set or remove hazards with Rapid Spin. If I ever do get the chance to do that, that'd definitely be the main thing that it's here to do, for sure. Is just remove hazards. I know that, maybe it could come specs every now and again. It's definitely not out of the question. But it really just, like I said, with most things, it really just depends on the matchup. So this mon could definitely see it putting in work. Could definitely see it's doing its job and what it's here to do. Very excited for Mr. Rhyme, aka Pimpin', as I like to call it. That's my nickname for Mr. Rhyme every time. It's just straight pimpin'. So yeah, moving on into our second to last pick, we grabbed Claydol. Claydol is another removal option. It also gives me, what is it called? It gives me a ground type that I was missing from the team. Ground type, always crucial thing to have. It gives me a electric immunity. It gives me its own another ground immunity with levitate. I have 3 levitating mons. Crazy. Its defenses are through the roof with 105 in physical defense and 120 in special defense. Definitely your more defensive Pokemon. It's always running. It's running Rapid Spin. It's running Toxic. It gets rocks. It gives me another Rockmon. I think this thing might also get spikes. If I'm not mistaken. Oh no, it does not. It does not get spikes. I can confirm it does not get spikes. But it gets Toxic. It gets Trick. It gets Teleport. Explosion if I'm ever feeling that. If I'm ever feeling Calm Mind, other setup move potentially if it has one, which it by actually the looks of it does not look like it, but it has Nasty Plot. But Calm Mind, Stored Power if I'm ever feeling that. The possibilities with this one are pretty out there for sure. Definitely not limited to a lot, because I know sometimes it's also ran physical, seeing how both its physical stat and its special attacking stat are the same. So it's definitely not out there to see this mon clicking Earthquake or Zen Headbutt or something like that, or Stone Edge even, for that physical coverage. So because it does click Stone Edge and Rock Slide kind of often because of those flying types that are gonna try to come in on those Earthquakes and things like that. So it's definitely nowhere near out the question. So moving into our final pick of the draft. Drum roll, please. It's nobody special. It's Unpheasant. I probably should stop giving this thing chances when it comes to draft leagues. I've drafted it twice. In DTC Season 3, and I dropped it. And in LET Season 7, and it never came to any match. Do I expect it to come to a match this time around? If I'm being honest, not really. Not really. Like, this mon, what does it do for me? It gives me defog, but that's about it. That's really all I needed to hear for, and I needed another mon to grab. This thing's move pool is pretty limited. It gets Air Slash, it gets Heat Wave, it gets Hurricane, it gets Brave Bird. Dual Wing Beat could actually really help it now. It gets U-Turn, it gets Toxic, it gets Taunt, Tailwind, Wish. So, if I'm ever feeling that, if I'm ever feeling Unpheasant, the utility with Wish, I'm down for it. With Boots, I'm down for it. But other than that, Unpheasant was really only here to have another defogger if I ever needed it. If Rodem or Giratina or Mr. Rhyme and Claydol weren't able to remove hazards that week, Unpheasant could just, be thrown on the team specifically for it. But other than that, that's really all there is for Unpheasant. I needed another mon to grab, and this was here. But that is going to be the draft. This is my draft for ICBA Season 6. I definitely think this team could definitely improve with some transactions, and I have been thinking about making a couple, not soon, but like I'm gonna see how weeks play out. I'm gonna observe, and I'm gonna see how it goes down, because I've definitely thought about some trades that I could make. But with that being said, that is going to be it. So I'm very excited for this. I hope you guys are just as excited as I am. Week 1 will be coming out next week on today. A week from now on Sunday. We are taking on, well, we've already faced them, but we took on Treadway and his Seattle Star Raptors. Pretty cool dude, from what it seems like. So be on the lookout for that. So I'm gonna get up on out of here. Be sure to go check out all the other coaches of the ICBA because they're all a great company. Really glad to be a part of this league. Shout out to Johnny GB for allowing me in the league. Definitely gonna be fun. Definitely ready to have some fun. Good luck to everybody. I hope you all have a beautiful season. I'm Coach Talon, your coach of the Atlanta Braviaries, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you.